cannot be compared to other countries, the 165 countries that he cited that were doing gambling, and there's no problem with it. The reason why they can do that, and the reason why we are opposed to doing that, is based upon the Constitution. Their constitutions in those places are different. They're different from ours. Ours gives us specifics as to what we should be keeping in our focus. Theirs gives them something else. You see? Now, everybody has coexisted all these years under our Constitution. And we will still coexist in the future. But the church and those of moral values must always be keepers of the gate. And while, as I said, and the lady's right, while we all appreciate that these individuals who have such a lifestyle are human beings and they are brothers and sisters, just like gamblers and everybody else are brothers and sisters, we love them, but we cannot endorse them as a part of what the national flavor is endorsed by the nation. Now there's no kind of middle ground on that. That's what this is. But like I said, it's been about the last 20 plus years, people are trying to, get their thing in. You understand what they're saying. And because they've grown the last 20 years, I remember when there was just a couple of them advocating that. But last week on this station, I got a surprise. Last week, Friday, there's a news show on Fridays at 4 o'clock, and that news show is supposed to be talking about positive production of all kinds of things going forward for young people. Well, that show last week, Friday, I'm coming back to the station, and I heard the young man on that show last week, Friday, with Sasha Farah, advancing this lifestyle in a way that he was making the lobby that they should be included in everything because they have rights, and of course they have rights. Well, their rights are already protected. And I was amazed. I was amazed at that. The young man really was talking about how, young boys are being attracted to it because of the lifestyle, the good things that they can get. And it's all based upon materialism. If you're a materialist, certainly you would be attracted by the lights of that particular lifestyle because it is a fancy lifestyle, as everybody knows. Just about every young man in this country has been petitioned at one time or the other by somebody who was of that lifestyle who tried to pick them in, as we say. Some were picked in and some were not picked in. So it exists. And that's why people are saying, if Bishop Boy understands the whole, grasps the whole big picture of this thing, and really look at it, how can the advocacy be place them under an area for special rights where there's no discrimination against them, against a lifestyle, against a sexual preference? This doesn't make sense. Now, if you mess around with the person, you got to deal with you. Police will lock you up. You should not have hit him. You should not have done these things. You cannot wrong him. He's a human being. He has every right under the Constitution. The Constitution could care less about your sexual preference. See the point? Okay. Toby, how are you?
Steve.
Toby, how are you?
How you doing, Steve?
Toby, how are you?
How you doing, Steve?
Very good, thanks.
Thank you, man, for a great time talking. Steve, the only reason why the government could even suggest these off-the-wall referendums, gambling, and now this, is because they know they should be charged for treason. This country is about to turn 40 years of age, and the majority of the Bahamian men, the majority of them cannot buy food. And the majority of which in your prisons are black Bahamian male. These government who have run this Bahamas need to be run before the courts of international court and be charged just like those brothers in The Hague. And I'm talking on both sides, buddy. Now, if they can get away with this nonsense, I will burn my passport and any Bahamian flag. If the Christian church allow that nonsense to be brought, the Bahamas Bahamian people, you are now watching right before your eyes where corrupt officials with influence are trying to influence Your preservation, let me digress for a minute. The preservation of your freedom is guaranteed on that preamble. And if you remove that preamble, you remove the preservation of your freedom. Listen, any government brings such nonsense to the people should be looked at as men and women involved in questionable and treasonous actions. How could you do that when you know the majority of the assets of the Bahamas is in the hands of some foreigner? Every real thing that makes us Bahamian is in the hands of some. Listen, that's treason.